So here we've investigated, we've really got them associated, and here, it's a lot of rapport building too because they're talking about other areas of their life, they're telling stories, all this, it's really conversational, but you're linking to all these other areas, and it's subtle the way that you do this, and I'll give you some specific language on that. And next, after this video, we'll go more into the triad and some really understanding what's happening emotionally. But you need to realize this is that all people do things for an emotional reason, and they justify it logically. So this is an emotional sale. We think that it's logical, and of course, they're looking at other people. All of that, though, you want to be able to use to your advantage. And I understand that you guys are not the cheapest. I would not hide that. I would not sugarcoat it. I would say, you might notice from our quote that we're not the cheapest, and here's why. We noticed before that we were competing with a lot of guys, but when we came back to those clients, it turns out they were hiring us because they had challenges. And not to badmouth other companies, but here's what we noticed. We could do it once and effectively, or we could be the guys competing on price, and nobody likes that. So I would set right up front. It's like this is why we do it this way. And if you're looking for the cheapest, we might not be the best option for you. So this is push away. But if you want the best, and if you really want to have great quality in the place that you live, where your kids sleep, then we can continue forward. So you just want to be firm, and say things, like that, which is kind of almost a pattern interrupt. So many other people are going to be so needy in that process, but you really, really own it. So what we're leading people to in this last piece, though, is to a decision. So I'll write that down. Decision, though you probably can't read this anyway. Decision. So what you want to do here is you've got people like really associated to their pain, what's missing, what's going on, and you're leading them there. And remember this, you're going to start getting this commitment and consistency. I would write that down, commitment and consistency. And if you read that book, Influenced by Cialdini, there's a lot of studies in there that they've done where just getting people in a yes mode. Does this make sense? Are you with me? Do you follow? Can you see how this benefits? Can you see why we do this? Are you comfortable with everything so far? And these are questions I ask as I'm taking people in to the close. I say, does this all make sense? Yeah. Are you comfortable with everything that we've talked about so far? Yes. And then I'll even say things like, so where would you like to go from here? And I say, they'll often say, well, that's why I sat down with you. When you give people the power instead of trying to over people power, people don't want the power. They don't want to make all the decisions a lot of times. So I say, well, what would you like to do? Where do you like to go from here? And they say, well, that's exactly why I hopped on the call with you today. And I say, would you like me to show you exactly how I can help you? And what do you think they say? They say, yes. And sometimes I'll tell a story here, or I give them an analogy, an example. Say, this is a lot like a home that we did over here on Oak Street, and what was going on here, and then we did this, and then we did that, and now here's the result. If you got similar results to this, and your home appraised, and you had this happy, loving thing, and met all your needs, does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Yes. And so stories are really powerful here, but just make a point where you're leading people to is a decision, and you're getting them a bunch of yes responses. So you can ask them, is this making sense? Are you comfortable with everything so far? Is everything cool so far? So you're just making them super duper comfortable as you take them to the close. And then I often tell them, a story there or something. You've heard me close before, but I'll do something that relates to what we've been talking about for the last hour and a half. Your consults might be a little bit longer, and they're going to talk a lot, and you're going to develop more friendships, which is awesome. And so then I would say something like this, would you like me to talk to you about the investment? And they say yes. And so you'll give them the investment amount, the estimate, whatever, and it's very important, like say it's $100,000. I wouldn't just say it's $100,000 and then there's this awkward silence. And that's what a lot of people teach, like it's this, and then it's like a stonewall, eye-staring weird thing. No, these are your friends. And so it's like I would say $100,000, and here's exactly what happens. So here's what happens. I'm assuming it. Here's what's going to happen. When you do this, then we're going to do this, and you'll be able to do this. So it's all benefit. Example of what they do selling programs like Tony Robbins. It's, you sign up and then you get this bonus, which can help you benefit. There's this feature, which gives you a benefit. So there's this this fixture or whatever. I need to learn some of the language of what you guys do, but is a direct emotional benefit to them. So that's it. So you give them the price, and then you don't just stop there. You review everything that you've talked about, but you frame it in a way where it's not like, hey, we're gonna put this up here, we're gonna put this up here so you can, or as you told me, and you said that this was really important to you, so we're gonna do this. And I think this, and we'll show you some sketches here, but we're gonna do this as well to make sure that you're really comfortable and you feel really good about this because this is your home. So just being really professional. That's it. I'm gonna do a couple more videos where we just go into a little bit of some frameworks that have helped me in the Tony Robbins world, things that I've pulled from Tony that can help you really understand what's happening inside of the mind intellectually of your clients, what's happening emotionally, and how you need to move them to that swift, powerful decision. So I'll see you in the next video.